This is why you need to know about Elizabeth Bathory, the most notorious woman in history. Her tale is drenched in blood and terror. Elizabeth Bathory was born in 1560 to one of Hungary's most powerful families. From an early age, darkness seemed to cling to her. Witnessing brutal punishments and taught the darkest arts by her own kin, Elizabeth's path was paved with cruelty. At just 15, she married Count Ferenc Nadasdy. Together they built a reputation for unimaginable cruelty. But it was after Ferenc's death that Elizabeth's reign of terror truly began. In her castle at Kaktice, young women began to vanish. The unlucky ones, lured by promises of work, were subjected to tortures beyond imagination. Beaten, mutilated, and even burned, their screams echoed through the halls. Elizabeth's most notorious act? Bathing in the blood of virgins to retain her youth. A legend that may not be entirely true, but certainly captures her sinister essence. In 1609, a noble girl's staged suicide led authorities to raid the castle. What they found was horrifying. Bodies mutilated, some still in the process of burning. Elizabeth was arrested, and her trial unveiled the extent of her brutality. Convicted of 80 murders, though some say it was closer to 650, Elizabeth was imprisoned in a tiny room, living out her final years in darkness. She died alone, but her name lives on as one of history's most evil women, Elizabeth Bathory, the Blood Countess. A tale of power, terror, and unimaginable cruelty. To truly understand the dark legacy of Elizabeth Bathory, we must delve deeper into the world she inhabited. The 16th century was a time of great turmoil and superstition in Hungary. The Carpathian Mountains, with their misty peaks and dense forests, provided a perfect backdrop for tales of horror and mystery. Villages were often isolated, and the fear of the unknown was a constant companion for the people living there. Life in these villages was harsh and unforgiving. The peasants toiled endlessly in the fields, trying to eke out a living from the unforgiving land. Children played in the dirt streets, unaware of the dark shadows that loomed over their world. The village market was a bustling place, filled with the sounds of haggling and the smells of fresh produce. But beneath this veneer of normalcy, there was an undercurrent of fear and superstition. In stark contrast to the peasants' lives, the nobility lived in opulence and luxury. Grand feasts were held in the castles, with tables laden with exotic foods and fine wines. The interiors of these castles were adorned with rich tapestries, intricate carvings, and luxurious furnishings. Noblewomen, dressed in the finest gowns, moved gracefully through the halls, their every whim attended to by servants. But even in this world of privilege, there was a dark side. Elizabeth Bathory's family was one of the most powerful in Hungary. They were known for their wealth, influence, and unfortunately their cruelty. The Bathory family had a long history of violence and brutality, and Elizabeth was no exception. From a young age, she was exposed to the darkest aspects of her family's legacy. She witnessed brutal punishments and was taught the dark arts by her own kin. This early exposure to cruelty and violence would shape her into the monster she would become. As a young girl, Elizabeth was given the best education available to a noblewoman of her time. She was tutored in languages, mathematics, and the arts, but alongside these subjects, she was also taught the dark arts. Her family believed in the power of these rituals and passed this knowledge down to her. Elizabeth quickly became adept at these dark practices, and her fascination with them grew. At the age of 15, Elizabeth was married to Count Ferenc Nadasdy, a union that would further cement her family's power and influence. The wedding was a grand affair, with lavish celebrations that lasted for days. The young couple seemed like a perfect match, both known for their beauty and charm. But beneath the surface, there was a darkness that would soon come to light. Count Ferenc Nadasdy was a formidable warrior, known for his bravery on the battlefield, but he was also known for his cruelty. Together, he and Elizabeth built a reputation for unimaginable brutality. They would often punish their servants in the most horrific ways, using methods that would make even the most hardened individuals shudder. This cruelty only intensified after Ferenc's death, when Elizabeth's reign of terror truly began. Elizabeth's castle at Kaktice became a place of nightmares. Young women from the surrounding villages began to vanish, lured by promises of work and a better life. But once they entered the castle, they were subjected to tortures beyond imagination. Beaten, mutilated, and even burned, their screams echoed through the halls, a testament to the horrors they endured. The castle's dark hallways and shadowy dungeons became the setting for Elizabeth's most heinous acts. She would often personally oversee the tortures, taking a perverse pleasure in the suffering of her victims. The young women, terrified and helpless, could do nothing but endure the unimaginable pain inflicted upon them. Their only hope was that death would come quickly and end their suffering. One of the most infamous legends surrounding Elizabeth Bathory is that she bathed in the blood of virgins to retain her youth. While this may not be entirely true, it certainly captures the sinister essence of her character. Elizabeth was obsessed with maintaining her beauty and youth, and she believed that the blood of young women held the key to eternal youth. This obsession drove her to commit some of the most horrific acts in history. In 1609, a noble girl's staged suicide led authorities to raid Elizabeth's castle. What they found was beyond horrifying. Bodies mutilated, some still in the process of burning, were scattered throughout the castle. The authorities were shocked by the extent of the brutality they uncovered. Elizabeth was arrested, and her trial unveiled the full extent of her monstrous deeds. The trial of Elizabeth Bathory was a spectacle, drawing the attention of people from all over Hungary. She was convicted of 80 murders, though some say the true number was closer to 650. The evidence presented at the trial was overwhelming, and the testimonies of the survivors painted a chilling picture of the horrors that took place within the castle walls. Elizabeth showed no remorse for her actions, maintaining her innocence until the very end. As punishment for her crimes, Elizabeth was imprisoned in a tiny room within her own castle. She lived out her final years in darkness, cut off from the outside world. The once powerful noblewoman was now a prisoner, her only companions the memories of her horrific deeds. She died alone, but her name lives on as one of history's most evil women, Elizabeth Bathory, the Blood Countess. Her tale is one of power, terror, and unimaginable cruelty. Her dark legacy continues to haunt the annals of history, a reminder of the depths of human depravity. The story of Elizabeth Bathory serves as a chilling example of how absolute power can corrupt absolutely, turning a once promising young woman into a monster of legend. Today, the ruins of Cactus Castle stand as a testament to Elizabeth Bathory's dark legacy. Tourists from around the world visit the site, eager to learn more about the infamous Blood Countess. Historical tours and educational exhibits provide a glimpse into the life and crimes of Elizabeth Bathory, ensuring that her story is never forgotten. The story of Elizabeth Bathory is deeply intertwined with the history and culture of Hungary. The Carpathian Mountains, with their rugged beauty and mysterious allure, continue to captivate the imagination of those who visit. The medieval castles and historical landmarks scattered throughout the region serve as reminders of a time when power and cruelty went hand in hand. Historians and scholars continue to study the life and crimes of Elizabeth Bathory, seeking to understand the true extent of her brutality. Through the examination of historical documents, medieval artifacts, and academic research, they piece together the puzzle of her dark legacy. While some aspects of her story may remain shrouded in mystery, one thing is certain: Elizabeth Bathory's name will forever be synonymous with terror and cruelty. Elizabeth Bathory, the Blood Countess. Her tale is a stark reminder of the darkness that can reside within the human soul. As we reflect on her story, we're reminded of the importance of compassion, empathy, and the need to stand against cruelty in all its forms. The legacy of Elizabeth Bathory serves as a cautionary tale, urging us to remember the past and strive for a better, more just future.